Welcome to episode 2 of A Tale for a Sale with John Davis from Paul Davis Automation. So it's been a while, about 9 months, and I look a little different. Shorter hair, but a longer beard. Not sure how that happened. It's the Rona. And we've got this big pile of wood, a little bit of a different setting too. So this big pile of wood, I come out here to do my thinking and to pay off my sins, I suppose. I call it the pile of penance because it's a pile that just keeps getting bigger, and the only way I can make it smaller is to split it. And since we don't have a log splitter, well, you're looking at the log splitter, so it keeps me honest, let's put it that way. But the pile of penance is quickly growing because we have a lot of dead ash trees on the property from emerald ash borer, so we're trying to get those trees down and put them in the house in the wood stove eventually. So wood, it's the only thing that heats you 3 times when you cut it, when you split it, and then when you put it in the wood stove, right? I'm sure you've all heard that joke. But in today's Tale for a Sale, just want to bring up something that's always bugged me. And that would be people who always had sales managers who always brought up the distinction between farming leads and selling leads, and talking about farming as if it were a bad thing. So obviously I have an opinion about that living out in a place like this. But before we do that, let me stick the camera over here, and if I do this right, we'll do it without having the cat knock it over or knocking it off of a log here. But first and foremost, this video is brought to you by Linmot. Linmot is a Swiss manufacturer of linear servo motors, so it may look like an air cylinder, but it is not. This is a servo motor, fully controlled servo motor inside of a very slick housing. You can tell where the Swiss design comes in. And there's no mechanical coupling inside. It's not a ball screw or an Acme screw or anything like that. It is a linear motor, so they go very fast, up to 300 inches per second, up to 100 Gs of acceleration with very long life because there's no mechanical coupling in the motor itself. So this little guy connects up to a drive that is Ethernet IP, which is easily programmed within any modern PLC. But here in the U.S., we deal mostly with the Rockwell folks because that's where all the market share is. But we can do deterministic motion on a drive with Ethernet IP that you can program in Studio 5000 with very little learning curve. And of course, we work with Siemens, and we work with B&R and all the other top brands in the world. So anyways, Linmot, this is our new DM guide. New product from Linmot, very exciting. If you want to check it out, go to linmot-usa.com or call your local Rockwell distributor or call me at Paul Davis Automation. So, thing I want to talk about. I had a sales manager a while back who always used to bring up this concept of finding business, and he would call it farming leads versus hunting leads. And I'll be real honest with you, the guy was a real a-hole, a real jerk, and I don't think he had either put a seed in the ground or ever put a seed in the ground or ever gone hunting, to be entirely honest, because he didn't know what the heck he was talking about. But he would always bang his fist on the table and say, I want people who go out and hunt leads or hunt for business. I want people who hunt for business. I don't like farmers. I don't think farmers are good salespeople. And that always sat wrong with me. And the reason it sat wrong is because I know farmers and I know hunters. I'm not a farmer, but I definitely hunt. And it's one of my passions, and I enjoy going out and harvesting deer to feed my family or turkeys or whatever other bounty this land has. And I can tell you for sure, it's a darn good thing that the guy across the road over there is a farmer, because if my family had to rely on my hunting for sustenance, everybody would have starved a long time ago. Hunting is glamorous. It's cool. You get a lot of neat gear. You get to, I like to bow hunt, so I like to take my cool bow out in the woods, wearing my cool guy camouflage, and talk about how I harvested a deer with my bow and arrow from 50 yards away. It's actually never happened because that wouldn't be a good shot. But anyways, you get the drift. Go out early in the morning. There's songs about it. There's the entire country music catalog in the fall is about going out and going deer hunting, right? Farming is a lot less glamorous. It's hard work. It's a slog. And you have to get up every single morning and milk the cows, and equipment breaks, and there's a lot of work to do. The work never ends. It's 9 o'clock at night on a Saturday, and you're still out there working because plants and animals don't care that it's Saturday. They still have needs that need to be met if you want to get the harvest in at the end of the year. The problem, though, like I mentioned before, is that if we survived solely on hunting, my family wouldn't eat. The first deer I harvested this year, I was in the tree stand for somewhere around 30 hours or so. And that was spread out over multiple afternoons and after work, weekend days where I could get away for a few hours in the morning. In other words, it took a long time. And I was lucky enough to harvest 3 deer this year, which it was 2 does and a buck, and that puts probably, at most 200 pounds of meat in the freezer, and that's probably way on the high side. It's probably more like 175 to 200 pounds of meat. Where the cow that I bought from the local farmer, we buy our meat from a local farmer, and he butchers the cow, and we bring the meat home and put it in our freezers. I bought 800 pounds of meat. Yep. I wrote a check and bought 800 pounds of meat. That was a heck of a lot better than sitting in a tree stand freezing or just sitting out there looking at squirrels run around. And it was pretty darn easy. That guy across the road over there who farms, he plants a couple thousand acres of food, and he feeds thousands of families every year with the product that he farms. So I guess what I'm getting at is that in sales, there exists a need for both hunters and for farmers. And I've heard this not just from the guy that I didn't like, but I've heard it from other people before, that whole kind of disdain for the idea of farming business versus hunting business. In 2020, frankly, it's the farming that's been keeping us alive. We haven't been able to get out as much and do the hunting that we like to do, especially as hired guns that are manufacturers' reps. We've been kind of sidelined. We can't do things that we like to do. We can't get out and see people. But the farming that we've done for 12 years, specifically in my business, or the farming that a professional salesperson has done for 30 years in their career, that is what's keeping the lights on right now, and that is what is feeding all the families who work for the manufacturers that we work for. So, it's been said before, but in a different context. Thank God for farmers. Thank God for a farmer. Thank God for all the farmers. And next year we'll be better, and we'll be able to get out and do our big game hunting and go to our fancy trade shows with our fancy equipment and do the fancy thing, right? But for now, it's farming that's been keeping us alive. So to that guy out there who's a big old idiot, if you ask me, I recommend that he actually go try hunting, real hunting, not going to a game preserve and having somebody trot out a deer for you, or recommend him trying farming, because that's kind of hard too. So with that, thank you for watching again. Hopefully you found this interesting. If you like it, comment. Please comment, subscribe, do something. I put these together because we're all tired of webinars. Nobody wants to do that BS anymore, and hopefully showing you some fun stuff will make this a little bit different, a little bit better. Have a very Merry Christmas, Happy New Year, Happy Holidays. Thank you so much for watching and for your business. John Davis from Paul Davis Automation, signing off.